Hello, I'm Ron Birdie, and today we're going to be doing the first in a series of videos of how-to for the Maevex 6100 series. And this video will be a little bit less of how-to and a little bit more of what comes in the box and the I/O connectivity that is on the 6150 and 6120 Maevex encoder appliances. So we'll start with the box itself. This is how it ships, or at least a single unit ships. We open up, and the first thing we see is the actual unit itself, which is protected in some plastic coating and bubble wrap so that in shipping it doesn't get damaged. And then of course there's some documentation as well. So there's the Quickstart guide, which is the most important thing that's in the box in terms of getting started. Just take a look at that when you open up the product, and you'll see some quick hints on how to get started with the product. So there's warranty information as well. I'll open up the box a little bit, or at least the appliance at the moment. So we'll take off the protective gear and the plastic bag that it comes in, and you get basically the appliance itself is ready to go from that point. Additionally, inside the box we have both the power supply, which is in its own a box. It's basically a brick power supply that plugs into the wall. And then you have the power leads for several different countries. So we have the UK, Australia, the US, of course, and the EU. All of those connectors are included in the box as well, and they basically come in plastic bags as well. So now we'll take a look at the box itself, and on the front side of the box we can start with the power button, which will turn it on and off the device, and then there's a pin reset just beside that, so you can reset to factory defaults once you've used it a while, or you might want to, for whatever reason, go back to the factory default settings. You can use that pin reset button to do so. We have USB on the front side, and I'll mention that as we get to the back side, because we have it on both as well and what it's used for. But we also have some push button control on the front of the device, 6 buttons, as well as an LCD. The LCD will give you pertinent information for the device itself, like the IP address, streaming addresses, some serial number, other data on the device itself, which will continually scroll, and that you can move around with the last 2 buttons to move up and down that information, or side to side if necessary. The first 4 buttons, 1, 2, 3, and 4, can be used to start, stop, both record and streaming simultaneously or individually, and that's all set via the PowerStream software that comes free with the device and is available on the Matrox website. Finally, we also have some audio connectivity on the front side for monitoring headphones, as well as a mic input, again controlled via the software on PowerStream Plus. On the back side, we have all 4 inputs. This is the 6150, so it's a quad encoder, and we have 4 Hdmi inputs, along with their associated zero latency pass-throughs. The DisplayPort output, which is also on the back side, this is a monitoring output that allows you to see a quadrant view of all 4 inputs. So it'll give you a 1080p output with a quadrant view of all of those 4 inputs. I mentioned the USB on the front side previously. There's a back side for USB, and what that's used for is local recording. So you can record to a local USB stick or a local USB external hard drive. And you can record here, or you can use the 2 network ports, RJ45 ports, to record to the network as well. Those 2 ports, and the reason for the 2 ports, network ports, are because we want to allow you to control the device on LAN 1 and stream on LAN 1. If you're not concerned about having too much bandwidth on the network and maybe interrupting the performance of users on the network, and you want to separate your PowerStream control data from your video data, you can use LAN 2 for streaming data alone. That port does not support the PowerStream Plus control data. So you can separate the control data from the video data. Additionally, all of our HDMI ports support audio, so digital audio, but we have 4 analog audio ports. If your sources have analog audio ports, they can be associated to the video that's coming in from the HDMI. So we support both digital video on HDMI and analog audios with the 4 input ports here. We have RS-232 for control of potential source devices via IP to RS-232 control, which the PowerStream Plus software supports. And finally, the power connector, which is a locking connector to the brick that I mentioned before when we took the product out of the box. So that's the 6150 quad device, Maevex device. And I have here the 6120, which is a dual Maevex encoder. And the only real difference, the front side of the 6120 is exactly the same as the 6150. On the back side, the only real difference is that it is now a dual input on the HDMI. It has dual pass-through instead of quad, and we have dual analog audio inputs instead of 4. Makes sense? It's a dual encoder. The actual encoder itself has the exact same power envelope as the 6150, so there's no loss of power. It's just a reduced cost solution for dual inputs when either you don't need additional inputs, or that can be used in combination with the 6150 for 6 or whatever multiples of 4 and 2 that you may choose in terms of your video needs. So that's it for this video. You can find out more on the Matrox web at matrox.com/graphics under the Maevex product line.